Well, let's bring in, as we do every Tuesday, the splendidly informed former executive assistant to the former American President Ronald Reagan, Peggy Grande. Peggy, thank you again for your time. The headlines around the world, I don't know, in America, seem to be salivating about Donald Trump and the prime time public hearing over what happened on January 6, 2001. Before I ask you for a comment, I might just share some of those headlines with our viewers. One headline says, "The violence was no accident." Another says, "It was Trump's last stand. Trump was central to the conspiracy." Another, "Former US President Donald Trump incited the January 6 Capitol attack and was central to a sweeping and methodical conspiracy to overturn the 2020 US election." Another, "In the entire 246-year history of the United States, there was surely never a more damning indictment presented against an American president than was outlined last week." And finally, another, "It was a prime-time public hearing into the most egregious attempt to subvert a US election in recent history." Peggy, it's on again. What do you make of it? What are the American people making of it?
Well, thank you as always, Alan, for having me on. And everybody sees this for what it is. And it is political theater, even to the point now that instead of it just being a hearing or a presentation of facts, they've hired an ABC documentary producer to produce it like it's a primetime television special. So the American people are seeing through this. And really, at the end of the day, it's not about finding the truth about what happened on January 6th. It is trying to prevent Donald Trump from ever stepping foot into the White House again in 2024. And so people are seeing through this. They're not presenting evidence. They're editing evidence. They are cutting videos. They're eliminating words from tweets. And so it's not meant to be evidentiary. It's meant to be persuasive to their point of view. We know the deck's been stacked and it's against Donald Trump.
It said that it is, and I quote, "a bipartisan House committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol." But much of the evidence was outlined by the lead Republican on the committee, Liz Cheney, who has denounced Donald Trump from day one. And she also denounced her Republican colleagues who defended Donald Trump. And isn't the chairman of this select committee a Democrat, Benny Thompson, and he called it Trump's last stand and a desperate chance to halt the transfer of power. So if you add Benny Thompson to Liz Cheney, how does Trump come out of all of this? As you say, the public will wake up to it, I guess.
Well, nobody pretends to think this is a bipartisan committee. We know that Kevin McCarthy, the minority leader, was allowed to put 5 people on the committee. Nancy Pelosi rejected them. A few of them. Kevin McCarthy pulled the rest. And so Nancy Pelosi appointed 2 anti-Trumpers on the committee. Liz Cheney, in her first day of statements, actually conflicted the very point that they were trying to say. She said that at the rally, he incited this violence, but then she also admitted that there was a lot of intelligence leading up to the rally and up to the day's events that indicated there was going to be great instability and unrest in Washington that day. And so how you square that, I'm not sure, but nobody believes for a moment that this is a bipartisan committee that's looking for truth. They're just looking to condemn, once again, Donald Trump like they did with their 2 sham impeachment hearings.
That's a very interesting point you make about the intelligence being available to know that something was likely to happen at the Capitol. Now, Fox News opted not to show the hearing, but surely Sean Hannity was right when he attacked the committee for not focusing on the breakdown of security at the Capitol, for which Nancy Pelosi is responsible.
She is. And Donald Trump actually saw this intelligence days ahead of time. He approved that the National Guard could be deployed, and Nancy Pelosi chose not to deploy them. Anytime there's a large bipartisan and both houses gathering of Congress, we see it with the State of the Union, or anytime both houses are meeting in the Capitol, we see additional security measures being taken. And so on a day that was so consequential, when the certification of the election was going to take place, when we knew that there was going to be a massive rally on the Mall, why aren't the questions being asked about what Nancy Pelosi knew and why she didn't secure the Capitol? We look even today at the Supreme Court. Additional security measures have been put up ahead of potential cases being released and decisions being released. And so why Nancy Pelosi didn't do that, we don't know. That's the question we should be asking, not about Donald Trump.